Hi everyone. Today is a happy day in our life. Today is our wedding anniversary. It's 19 long years since we are married, and I'm thankful to God for all the blessings He has showered on us. And we have this blessing of amazing harmony in our life. I don't have an explanation for that. Like every good thing, that is also a blessing from God. I could always feel God's presence in our marriage, and He is always there to control my thoughts and to control His thoughts and to prevent any discord in the family. I don't have any explanation for that. So, I want to share this particular incident. One day I was trying to fight with my husband, and I was blaming him for all sort of things. I was blaming him for all silly things. But my husband was silent. He was not reacting at all. And after some time, I came to my normal self and I felt bad. And I went and talked to him. And then he talked back normally as if nothing has happened. Then I was surprised and I asked him like whether I hurt him. He said absolutely not. Then I asked him why. He said he understood why I was fighting with him. He understood that, he said this particular thought flashed in his mind. He understood that I am a person of extreme passion, and I'm a person of extreme sincerity, and I do everything in that extreme sincerity and passion, and this frustration is because of that. And he understood that, and he didn't feel any anger towards me. So when I heard that, I was really touched, because my husband is not someone who would analyze the other person's character and come to a conclusion like this. He also said this thought was not there. It suddenly came to his mind. And for me, it is like the God whom I serve make my husband understand that what kind of a person I am, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses, and he is preventing any sort of discord in the family. So I always feel that presence of God in our life, and whenever we are going against his will, he wants us. He would either talk to our heart, or he would talk to us in some dreams. So I always can feel his presence in our marriage. So I don't have any explanation for any of that. It's just a blessing from God, and I'm thankful. I'm extremely thankful for that. And over the years, we also have learned many things. We evolved as husband and wife. We evolved as parents. So I thought I'll share a couple of things that has worked well in our marriage. One is, I always respect my husband as the head of the family. So I always respect that position of a husband. So I feel that is a position that he received from God. The position of wife and mother is something that I receive from God. Without God giving us, we cannot receive anything. So God has called us into that. So my God has called my husband into that position of a husband or a father. So I respect him for that, and I deeply love and respect him for that. My love and respect is not because of his position or his money or his education or his talents or any other things. I love and respect him because of the position that God gave him as the husband, as my husband and the father of my children. So that respect is always there. And I always stand with him. I always support him in whatever decision he takes. So if I disagree with him, I talk to him. But ultimately, whatever decision he takes, I stand with him. I always support him, and I don't overrule any of his decisions. So that is one thing that has worked well in our marriage. Second thing is, I give him the necessary emotional stability. So my husband is someone who takes everything positively. I usually see him with a cheerful heart and a hearty laughter. I only saw him upset a couple of times. One was when his father, during the last days of his father, he was very sad. Second was when my father was diagnosed with illness, he was very sad. Other than this, all other things he takes positively. But there is a support that I provide him. I provide him the necessary emotional stability and support. That's a very subtle role that I play. the other person may not even realize that I am giving that stability and support. But nevertheless, I have that deep conviction that God has called me for that. He has called me to give the necessary emotional stability and support for my husband and for my children and even for the extended family. So I have that deep conviction within me, and I always try to give that stability. Even if I am not happy or even if I am sad, I don't show that outside. I give them the necessary support and stability. It's a very subtle role, and many times the other person may not even recognize, but that doesn't matter. Our reward is from God. So I always strive to give that stability, and that is another thing that has worked well in our marriage. So there are many other small things like this. Due to lack of time, I'm not covering everything, but these couple of things helped our marriage life. And before I conclude, I want to reflect upon a song that we sing during our wedding ceremony. It's very beautiful. It's very meaningful. Let's listen to that. It is called the blessing of crowns. So I'll roughly translate that. So the crown is coming down from heaven, from the hands of God, and the priest is placing that crown on the head of the bridegroom. So the crown is coming from heaven, from the hands of God, but God needs the hand of the priest to place it on the bridegroom. So priest is the representative of God, and the bridegroom is receiving that crown from the hands of God. It is the God who is calling him into that position. Similarly, bride is receiving that crown from the hands of God. So God is calling her into that position of bride. Isn't that beautiful? So that's why marriage is sacred, because God is calling us. God is present in our marriage. So that's why it's called the covenant. So we are entering into a covenant with each other and with God. God is our witness. So He is calling us into that position. So that's why marriage is sacred. And that's why it's one of the holy sacraments of church. So we should understand that covenant nature of marriage, and we should have that conviction, deep conviction, that it is a position that we receive from the hands of God. It is a gift that we receive from the hands of God. Second is, the crown of the bridegroom is likened to the crown of Jesus. That's a crown of thorn. So God did not promise that everything is beautiful in marriage, because we are from different backgrounds. So we have our own weaknesses. So many things can go wrong in marriage. But we should have that firm conviction that God has called into this marriage, and what the crown is likened to the crown of thorns. So we should love the bridegroom should love his bride as Jesus loved his church. So he gave himself up for her. So he unconditionally loved the church. So the same way, the bridegroom should unconditionally love his bride. So that is his calling. And the crown of bride, that is likened to the crown of virgin companions. So she is called into faithfulness. So she is called into chastity. So that's her calling. So she has to be faithful to her husband until death separates them. So that's the calling of wife. So both husband and wife should understand this. They should understand the covenant nature of marriage. They should receive that marriage from God. So they should accept it as a covenant or a sacrament from God. So that then even if problems are there, with the help of God, when God is present as a third person in marriage, so everything will be peaceful. He will take care of everything. So there will not be any discord, there will not be any compatibility issues. So when you receive everything from God, it will be beautiful. So if we have that firm conviction, if we have that conviction that we have received that other person as husband or wife from God, then there is 100% chance that the marriage will be happy. So that is my experience, and I want to share with all of you. So please pray for marriage. Please keep our family in your prayers, and God bless you all. Thank you.